going on, dudes and dudettes? So a lot of USC, especially football news since we last spoke. I know I want to get this done, recording this Sunday night, get this up early Monday, because it just feels like there's going to be a lot more portal news coming in and out of USC, and then with National Signing Day, at least the early version for high school players coming up on Wednesday, it's going to be a pretty big, crazy week for USC football. So I'm going to get through this little bit of news right now. So both players from USC that are playing, wide receiver Taj Washington and the cornerback Christian Roland Wallace, have both accepted invitations to the East-West Shrine Bowl. It's one of those newer ones that they've added because a lot of the underclassmen who weren't seniors or graduated college yet weren't able to get invites to the Senior Bowl, so they had this other bowl they were able to put up a lot of guys, and there's a lot of good players in there too that have not gotten out there to show out their stuff for the Senior Bowl, so that'll be pretty cool for them to get their chance there. It's been a pretty okay game here and there, but yes, two USC guys were invited the other day, so that's pretty cool for them. So, but it does look like they are going to be leaving USC for the draft. I know Brendan Rice recently did an interview saying that he could be persuaded and change his mind, even though he did accept the invitation to the Senior Bowl. I think he said he had until like February or something like that, but I don't know if that's 100% true or not. I didn't really do my homework on that, but once I do hear a bit more news about that, I will get you all updated as well as myself. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff going on with those Senior Bowls around the country. And I believe that Mamba Sita Foundation recently put out a lot of those Kobe USC version shoes out for the basketball team, so those look pretty awesome. Definitely looking forward to seeing a lot of the players have those on in the next coming games and for the rest of the season. Did not start off well. I'm pretty sure if they were wearing them today, I'll get into that a little bit later. But yes, definitely looking forward to seeing those on the court. And then yes, an ex-USC player, Taj Gibson, recently re-signed with the New York Knicks. He left for quite a bit of years, and now he just returned back, signed what seems to be a nice contract to be able to play right away. So we'll see if they keep him for the rest of the season or not. But yeah, it's pretty cool for him that he's officially back in the NBA. And another player from USC has entered the transfer portal, and wide receiver Mario Williams. He did come over pretty much with Caleb and Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma after they spent a year out there, and we thought he was going to be one of Caleb's top guys since they both came from the same school, but never really translated as they were here the past 2 years. So you kind of saw the writing on the wall with a lot of the talent that USC has and probably will be getting soon, whether it's through the portal or through recruiting. So good luck to him either way. He did make a pretty big bonehead play, which I pretty much think made USC lose that Tulane game in that New Year's Six bowl game. But either way, good luck to you, buddy. And then in the recruiting news, USC did get a 3-star edge in Lorenzo Cowan, who I did talk about a couple of videos ago that he was committed to Kentucky, decommitted once he had his official visit to USC, and now he's already committed to USC. So that's pretty cool, especially how close signing day is officially in the next couple of days. So hopefully this will become official by then. And then another player is entering the portal from USC, and that's offensive lineman Michael Tarquin, who did transfer from Florida last offseason, but just never really put it together. We thought he was going to be good, and I think his only claim to USC was that he's married an ex-USC offensive lineman's daughter, and everybody thought he could be a good player. He had good word from his dad, who was an ex-player at USC, but I don't know, or his stepfather, but it just never came to fruition. So now he has one more year left. He probably won't go back to Florida where he was playing, but you just never know. And then USC did make a big-time hire in their secondary coach in getting Houston coach Doug Belk, who was one of those guys whose name was out there. I think a lot of places wanted him on their roster after Houston let go of their coach, but luckily USC was able to persuade him. He's a really good recruiter and really good at that position, but obviously that was Dante Williams' position, who was also a good recruiter, but apparently he had resigned or left USC anyways, and then eventually did sign with Georgia, pretty much, who's been the number one team the past couple of years. So I guess they get a big time recruiter, but I think at this point that's just what he is, because a lot of the guys that came in, they never really developed as much as you thought they would if he was talked about as well he is as a recruiter. But I don't know, maybe the magic will all of a sudden happen out there in Georgia, of course, instead of at USC. But he did get some big time players. It's just they have not developed. So hopefully Doug Belk will be able to do that, and I think he will. And two stepbrothers who play for the Oregon State Beavers up there recently decided to pick USC to transfer to a linebacker in Easton Mascarenas Arnold and a defensive back, Akili Arnold, who I think the defensive back is considered the better of the two, but the linebacker is a younger player. I think he's only had 2 years in college, and Arnold and Akili has 3, but they will be going into the next years, and they obviously look pretty good. I think even Akili was like a first team all Pac-12 team this last season. But either way, these are pretty big time gets. They're both from Southern California. I believe they went to Mission Viejo High School, so pretty local products near USC and out here in the Inland Empire. But yes, pretty big get for them, because Oregon State has had one of the better defenses out there, and I'm pretty sure these guys were a part of it the last couple years, especially Akili. So definitely very excited to have them on the team. And yes, sadly today on Sunday, USC basketball did go on the road to Auburn and lose 75-91. I guess it was a little bit closer in the first half, not that much. I even forgot that they did play this early today, but was able to catch a little bit, and they were pretty much down by 15 plus and weren't able to really catch up, so that sucked for them. But yeah, overall, we'll just see how they do the rest of the year. I think that's their 4th loss on the season already, but they have had a tough schedule, kind of like Duke has had, to where they could maybe lose some of these games here and there early, and as long as they do well in conference play, they should be able to get into the tournament. But I know Duke has done a lot better job at losing closely. USC has not, so we'll see how that ends up towards the end. And then later on today, on Sunday as well, USC did get a 2024 offensive lineman commit in Kalolo Ta'aga. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. He is a local California product as well. He's like 6'7", pretty close to 300 pounds. He was more of a basketball player until he started playing football, and he still has a slim frame. So I think that's what a lot of people like about his ability to play. Even though it's just been 1 year, he was still pretty much high riser once his highlight tape and everything got out there. So yes, he's technically a 3-star, but because he is signing early in the process, he probably would have ended up being a 4-star if he wasn't choosing to pick USC right away. But that's the same thing with like Lorenzo Cowan as well. He is a 3-star, but with a lot of great high measurables that D'Anton Lynn, the new defensive coordinator, is looking for. And obviously, he's looking for more upside than anything, but also with the measurables, so that will hopefully be able to transition well to a lot of these guys, not only in the transfer portal that are coming in, but also from the high school ranks. So he will be on campus next season, so that'll be pretty cool to see. And this is pretty big news for USC's quarterback room for the season coming up and the future, because the Kansas State quarterback that I mentioned a while back that I would have liked USC to get in and maybe him transfer to USC, and there's been a lot of talk about it, even though he did visit Miami recently, but there was no signing after that pretty recently. So that usually is what happens if a guy wants to transfer there. But he did, and pretty much is still on his official visit this weekend to USC, and everything looked great, especially on social media. He looked pretty happy and excited to be here, and it looked like it went well and good. But then all of a sudden, late Sunday today, we did hear that, I mean, it kept saying that a lot of the posts were that the freshman quarterback Malachi Nelson is planning to enter the transfer portal or is expected to, but other sites did say that he did officially end up into the transfer portal already. So I'm kind of wondering why he's doing that, because even if they're not bringing in Will Howard, it seemed like if, you know, Miller was going to stay, then he would have been the quarterback starting next year anyways over Nelson. You never know how Nelson would have developed over the spring and into next year and over the summer, but it still would have been like Miller Moss's job to lose, as he would be going into his senior year and hopefully doing well in this bowl game against Louisville coming up in about a week or so. But yeah, either way, I think it kind of shows more about his character and unwillingness to fight, and maybe the fact too that, yeah, even with Will Howard coming, that he is most likely going to only be here for 1 year, which means Miller Moss, even if he does stay, he will be up once Will Howard is up as well. So Miller will most likely be gone as well. So you have to get depth as well. And I know there was a quarterback that a lot of people liked who is a bit younger. I want to say he's a freshman or his second year sophomore quarterback from Texas, in Malik Murphy, who USC said they were interested in. That's why I was kind of surprised Will Howard was still on this visit. But apparently, because maybe Malik Murphy won't mind sitting behind him 1 year if he's not thinking he's 100% ready, even though he said that was the reason why he was wanting to transfer away from Texas, because he was kind of done waiting to play. But if you wait 1 more year, he'll be able to start for USC, and then by that time, that freshman quarterback in 2026 who should reclassify to the 2025 year should be on campus, in Julian Lewis. So it could work out for Lincoln Riley and USC in the future in their quarterback room. They probably will get another transfer guy who isn't considered good and doesn't really care about playing time, just wants to get a degree from USC for being there for a year. But yeah, either way, it's a lot of moving parts and pretty fluid situation going on, so we'll have to wait and see. I know this weekend isn't going well for me, especially fantasy football wise. I was trying to barely to the playoffs, the last 4 spots, but I don't think that is going to happen, so that sucks. But luckily, a lot of USC football news to keep me busy, so hoping for some better positive news. But I'm pretty sure if Will Howard does commit, then I will do a separate video on its own. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, Fado.